Hi, angels around. This is Teacher Kimi of Kimypedia. Welcome to another video on Practical Research 1. This time, I'm going to teach you how to create a PowerPoint presentation for your research defense. Before anything else, I'd like to give you some tips. Number 1, make sure to follow the proper format of creating PowerPoint presentations. Number 2, ask your teacher of the format, or actually you should really ask your teachers because your teacher might have something in mind or might give you a format to follow. Now seek mentorship from just about anyone else, your former teachers, your classmates, the learners who have come before you. Seek mentorship from them. Number 4, your background should be creative enough based on your topic. Your background shall have to be catchy. The background of your PowerPoint presentation should actually represent the topic or the subject matter. Number 5, keep the slides at a minimum. Use keywords or important phrases or clauses rather than the whole paragraphs from your paper. Remember, you have already given them chapters 1 to 3 in full, along with your appendices, including your research instruments and some letters. So there is not necessary for you to include the paragraphs and read those in front of your panelists. What is more important is you show your mastery of each and every nook of that research paper by discussing your chapters 1 to 3 using this format. Now, this presentation was from a frontrunner group among my learners. I have of course taught them how to create a presentation, but the job was done by them. This topic actually is a brainchild by the primary author Jasper. I think that in my 4 years of teaching research, this is the first time that someone suggested a topic that is actually researchable and is very relevant for the development of the society. That's why I agreed to it. I just had to contextualize his idea into a research topic. What you are looking at now is the research title is stylized for some impact and creative as should be in qualitative research. Below are the names of the authors. The list should start with the primary author, followed by the secondary author, etc. In the case of multiple authorship, the names at the end can be that of the consultants or senior researchers or research advisors. Also, I let my learners choose an appropriate name for their research convention depending on the type of research title or discipline that they are talking about. In this case, the title is Baratong Paroy, the Impact of Rice Tarification Law Amendment Among the Coastal Rice Farmers of Libon Albay. This is authored by Gregorio Saurane, Josel Saurane, and of course, Jasper. Their name group is Economic Research Corps. Their background was quite simple, but I'm content with it. But I would have actually imagined it to be something more like fabulous. Like you could have the picture of rice itself on the background, and of course some leaves of that rice and some grains to make an effect of beauty for aesthetic purposes, and of course to make them really feel the essence of their topic. In most cases, the second slide is actually the prayer. Now, we're not all Catholics, so you may actually skip on that. Or the prayer can be done in a very simple way. You know, we do not really have the specific format of a research prayer like that, but you can just create or you can just do simple prayer that is coming from your heart. This slide presents the subject matter of the study. The main key informants of this research specifically, for example, are the coastal rice farmers. The clause is one of the operationally defined terminologies to serve as a noun to identify the subject of this research. In the third slide, I asked them to present the current source of issue occurring among or within the immediate environment of the key informants. In other words, this is like identifying the problem. For this one specifically, I asked them to insert a screenshot of the Rice Tarification Law itself. I mean the RA, the Republic Act. Sadly, this is actually one of the misgivings of this particular PowerPoint presentation. I also discovered recently that RTL is just the common name or the common public name for the RA that tackles lowering the tariffs among importation and exportations of rice. The fourth slide is one of the most important part of your presentation that you cannot go without. So this is the importance of the study. It presents the problem itself and followed by the thesis statement. The thesis statement is like the objectives of the study. So I actually taught my students how to create thesis statement so that your STPs or statements of the problem are well characterized or well presented in the thesis statement so that the thesis statement can give your audience the whole view of what your research is going to be. The next integral part is the statement of the problem or the objectives of the study, depending on how your teachers want you to present it. It includes a short thesis statement followed by the specific research objectives or research questions or problems. Make sure that your thesis statement is relatively consistent across your research paper. In the sixth slide, I asked my learners to create one or two paragraphs that can describe the whole of your research methodology. Research methodology is one chapter. It is the chapter 3. But if you really know how to conduct your research, you will be able to create a paragraph or two that summarizes your research design, the type of data analysis, data gathering procedure that you're going to do. It also includes, of course, the type of research instruments that you are going to do for each objectives. The next slide was a table I asked them to accomplish as one of their written works for Practical Research 1. So that table includes the statement of the problem, the methodology to be used, and of course, the research instrument that they will have to use for each of the statements of the problem. At this point, you should have already made sure that the type of research methodology, particularly the type of research instruments that you're going to use for each of the research questions or statement of the problem or objectives are appropriate. Since this is a qualitative research, I never ask my learners to create theoretical frameworks or analytical framework for that matter. I actually just ask them to create conceptual framework so that they would be assisted by this conceptual framework in the conduct or in the process by which they are going to do the research. I also encourage them to be more creative in creating their conceptual framework. On the other hand, as you can see, most of them were actually able to produce a conceptual framework based on the input process output framework that we usually have. Being able to explain well the conceptual framework gives the panelist the insight that you, as a researcher, knows a lot about your research and the procedures that you're going to do. Another significant part is the references. The reference list should be in alphabetical order or depending on the type of citation format that you are using. In this case, this one uses APA or APA citation format. Now, in this particular case, it really has to be alphabetical, but the group were not able to make it alphabetical as of this time. In some cases, your panelists may ask you of the most significant or relevant citations that you have for your research. A graceful thank you so much for listening. We are now ready for your insights and queries is always necessary, of course. I think that's it. Thank you so much, angels, for listening to me. For your queries, just drop them at the comment section. And if you need help, look me up at FB and IG. Thank you so much. And of course, angels around.